Hi students, we're here today to trace the carbon through our ecosystem. We're going to trace it through the living parts of our ecosystem and the non-living parts of our ecosystem. We're going to start our carbon cycle with this chicken. This is Tina. She's a Polish chicken because she has this nice fancy headdress. And Tina's here eating and breathing, and both of those things represent movement of carbon through the carbon cycle. As Tina eats, she's taking in plant material that has carbon in it in the form of carbohydrates. Now, she's also performing cellular respiration in her body as she digests that food that she ate. And that carbon ends up as a waste product, and she releases it as carbon dioxide into the atmosphere through cellular respiration. So when she breathes out, she's giving that CO2 out into the atmosphere, where all these plants behind me can then take it in through photosynthesis in order to make more food for her to eat. Sometimes chickens also poop, and that's another way carbon can get into the ecosystem. Now, Tina's not able to release 100% of the carbon into the atmosphere. She uses some to grow, and she uses some when she poops. Yes, some of that carbon is going to come out in poop. And that poop is going to end up on the ground, where it's going to encounter some decomposers, those bacteria and fungus that are going to break it down, and then they are going to release the carbon stored in there as carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Now, eventually a chicken might come to the end of its life as a meal, as chicken soup maybe. Not Tina, of course, she's safe, but a predator or a human might eat a chicken, and that carbon from the chicken's body would then get transferred into their body. Now, sometimes a chicken might also die, and if that chicken dies and is buried, then their carbon can get broken down and it might turn into fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are things like oil, gasoline that are stored underneath the earth. Charcoal that you use in your grill is another form of carbon as a fossil fuel. So we use those fossil fuels as a source of energy. Those fossil fuels are burned when you light your grill or when you run your car, and that releases the carbon, again in the form of carbon dioxide, back up into the atmosphere. Now, sometimes that can cause some problems because too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere can contribute to global warming or to greenhouse gases, which can lead to global warming. So we have to make sure that the amount of carbon we release into the atmosphere can be taken back by plants and turned back into carbohydrates and continue that cycle. When that cycle becomes unbalanced, we can have trouble.